Hey everybody, it is Dave. Welcome in. It's time to talk about, you guessed it, module number 4. This week we have the midterm exam and also a link to turn in the journals. So the first thing you need to do is take the midterm exam. That's incredibly important. It will close on Sunday, the 28th of June. There is always the due date or due time of 3 o'clock. But it is open until 11:59. But as we know, Canvas slows down the later in the day that it gets. So take it as early as possible. And I always like to suggest taking it at least Monday through Thursday because you'll have IT support that way, just in case something doesn't go right. And then also for this week, we have the journals to turn in. There are 6 of them. I have links in the assignment for you, and I'll go over that in just a bit when we jump to the Canvas site. Make sure those are done, but you do have a little bit of flexibility. I will accept those all the way to July the 5th, which is the following Sunday. But again, the sooner you turn them in, the better. And everything from this point now stops. Everything forward, Module 5, will go on the final exam. We are not going to revisit things like linear perspective or the Baroque or anything like that. Everything from Module 5 forward is what's going to appear on the final exam. No matter how good or how poorly you do on the exam, and most of my students do really well, remember that we still have a long semester to go. So make sure that you continue attending or at least watching the lectures. Make sure you've completed the assignments, things like that, that will really help your grade as we move through the last few weeks of the semester. We are halfway done. So join me. We're going to jump ahead to the Canvas site and I'll walk you through Module 4. All right, here we are on the Canvas site. We're going to be taking a look at Module 4 this week. As you can see, it's totally different than our previous modules. So the very first thing up top is the video you're watching. We'll take a look at the action plan underneath, which explains about the midterm exam. Keep in mind that it is 50 multiple choice questions. Each of them is worth 2 points, so up to 100 points possible on this project. There is a time limit, so you only have 50 minutes once you open the exam. The exam is open book, open website, whatever you want to use. However, keep in mind you should have studied prior to this for the exam because you will not have enough time to look up all of the answers. Do as best as you can with the time provided. As far as the midterm goes as well, this covers modules 1 through 3. The final exam has nothing to do with the modules we're doing right now. So the final exam comes from any material after the midterm. I also have a fun lecture on test-taking techniques I'll show you in just a moment. Just make sure that the midterm exam and the journals are both submitted this week. The test-taking techniques lecture is one I would have given in an in-person class. It's really important, I think, to kind of really consider what exams are, how to prepare for them, the impact that they may have. And I've added kind of a lot of ideas to think about in this lecture, as well as some formulas also, as far as how much time to spend studying for specific exams. Were we also in person, I would have you break down into groups and go through this worksheet on, what are your easiest exams? What are your toughest exams? How long do you spend studying? Things like that. I'm going to jump down to the journals real quick. The journals can be submitted this week, but I also have some flexibility on the journals. There is a grace period until Sunday, July the 5th. But the sooner you get these submitted, the better. The journal links are right here, just in case you aren't able to find them all, but they're in modules 1, 2, and 3. Total is 60 points, so each of them is worth 10 points each. Make sure they're presented in standard Word docs, PDFs, or JPEGs. No links or embedded files are even considered. They will just bring a 0. The thing that does need to be completed more than anything else this week is the midterm exam. You need to get that out of the way. I suggest doing this early in the week as well, because there you have tech support. Also, make sure down here where we have the sample exam questions, make sure you've done those on the computer or laptop or tablet that you're planning on taking the exam on. That's why they are there. So this is also something you can take multiple times. So if the computer you were going to use isn't available, it's totally okay to then go ahead and try this out on another computer and to make sure everything loads correctly. That's why this is set up the way it is. So for the midterm exam, all you have to do is click into it. Once again, the breakdown, 50 multiple choice questions in 50 minutes. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the first question. Once again, up here, all the questions are presented 1 through 50. You can see the time is breaking down from 50 minutes down. You can also hide it if that's something that disturbs you. Personally, it doesn't disturb me at all. And keep in mind that it will start flashing at about the 5-minute mark. So it's really good, generally speaking, to have this on, and that flashing will alert you, hey, I've only got 5 minutes left. So I normally always go through and answer everything through one time where I'm like, these are the questions I know. Then I go back and answer the questions that are more difficult that may take some time to look up. So once you click the button here, you'll see that you'll have a check mark. So that's what I always do. I always go through and I go, okay, which is the correct answer? Click the next button. And once you're done with everything, you'll click the submit quiz button. Note that if you click this early, it'll remind you you have unanswered questions. And then you have to click OK to go ahead and submit it. Just click the cancel button if this comes up, and you're all good to go for the next question. All right. I think that is everything for this week. If you do have questions, comments, concerns, please drop me an email, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Other than that, good luck on the exam. Module 5 is next week. That is material that will appear on the final exam. And also, we're breaking into new material, which is modern art and the avant-garde. So we're going to be looking at all the isms, such as Impressionism and Fauvism and Cubism. We're going to look at the invention of photography and things like that. So it's a really great second half of the semester.